Hello, welcome, and happy New Year 2025. This is On Second Thought with Mike and Matt, back in the new year on a Saturday morning, getting ready to talk about all pertinent things relevant to the topics that we have hand curated and selected for you all to listen to. Welcome, Matthew.
Yeah, welcome. It feels weird being back after a year. This is great. Away. Yeah. Good. Everything good here. It's cold out, Mike. It's wintertime. Winter blast coming this week. Snow. Armageddon.
I picture all you Ohioans running around bumping into each other going, oh my God, snow. No.
we get snow all the time.
You can have it. I haven't had much of any this year, so you can keep it.
Yeah. This is going to be the first big one of the year. You're expecting a lot of the models are actually, you know how I don't know news in your area, but the news goes crazy when it's going to snow. You know, it's just absolute bonkers. Well, they're all kind of predicting the same thing, and even the state ODOT, it's been looking at the models from the National Weather Service and that, and saying we got the plow trucks ready, blah blah blah, and they're calling for our area 7 to 8 inches possibly. It's a pretty good amount of snow.
Now, and this is for your return to office. Of course, you've been sequestered at home, pampered, fig leaves and grapes being fed to you as the man of the house for the last 2 weeks. And you're about to return back to work with the commoners on Monday. And so this is supposed to come in tomorrow night, Sunday into Monday?
Yeah, start tomorrow morning and go into Monday, sometime Monday morning.
So I know you have the truck and you're a company man. 8 inches of snow keeps you home, or 8 inches of snow you'd go in?
I'd be on the fence. Yeah, I'd have to take a look, see what the roads look like. If the roads are still pretty, got a lot of snow on them, haven't been plowed or anything like that, I might seriously consider staying at home.
Now, a quick change of gears. We're noticing a new Bengals hat there. And I know in the back corner, it looks like there's similar hats of the same color. Did you buy these in bulk in case they wear out, or are they different flavors?
Yeah, this is a different flavor. This one here, so the Bengals play tonight, 8 o'clock against Pittsburgh. Still a chance to get to the playoffs. So I'm hoping to bring them a little luck tonight. This is their Super Bowl hat from a couple years ago. And the other one, a couple. I've got this one here. That's the Bengal tiger going across the top. Then this is just another gray one because I like the gray ones with the Bengal head on.
Now, teams.
Then I got 2 more upstairs. No, 1 more Bengals head upstairs.
Now, the scuttlebutt around the NFL is teams do not want to play the Bengals. People are very hopeful that the Bengals do not get in because Joe Burrow's playing out of his mind, and they might get their defense together there at the last second. What quickly for our ravenous Bengals listeners, can you quickly summarize? Is it win and you're in, or do you need some external help?
We need some external help, yep. So the Bengals need to win tonight against Pittsburgh, in Pittsburgh. And then we need the
Broncos to
Dolphins. No, the Broncos already lost. We beat the Broncos.
The Broncos are 9-7. You guys are 7-8.
The Broncos and the Dolphins, I think, both need to lose. Or did the Dolphins lose last week? Anyways, there's a couple. So we need a little outside help to make this happen. So, yeah, it was. I think one of the teams was the Colts, and they lost or something, right?
Yeah. So there's one game left.
Yeah, the Broncos play the Broncos need to lose. The Broncos play the Chiefs, and
the Broncos are 9-7, and both you and Miami are 8-8. So you would need the problem. That Denver is playing the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are not playing Mahomes.
The Chiefs are throwing the game because they don't want to play us. They know what happens when they play us.
Well, if you don't get in by this, if you win and all the other teams win and you become 9-8, and this will sound like a broken record to Zach Taylor and his squad, you got to get off the starting blocks a lot quicker, man. This is becoming a problem, persistent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't fucking start the season 0-4, dude. Every fucking year.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes our Bengals talk. So everybody else who all the Bengals listeners can drop off now.
Next week we'll start talking about the Reds.
No, it's still cozy season, Matt. We cannot be discussing baseball this quickly.
It is. Got myself a nice little fire going in here.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, it is Saturday morning, so I still got a little bit of that morning voice, so I apologize. Hopefully it will smooth itself out over time. But yes, we did last speak prior to the holidays. How was everything, Matt? We don't need to take a deep dive into it, but how was everything sufficient?
Yeah, everything was good. Everything went well. Everyone seemed to be happy. I think the oldest wasn't. I think he was expecting a little bit more, not realizing we spent a lot of money on him with the stuff he had got. But no, everything went well. It was nice. Went visited family and that, and good times to be had around.
You had a dual Christmas, of course. You know, you got in-laws and stuff like that, so you had multiple Christmases. How was the New Year's festivities? Lots of fireworks and Chinese food in the cul-de-sac. Was it a festive event, or was it subdued?
Subdued, very subdued. People outside my realm were doing fireworks and things and that, but no, we was very chill here, which has been the case many times for me in the past for New Year's. Is just sit at home and take it easy and let the new year come in.
Yes, as you know, there's certainly events that happened in and around New Year's that sort of back up those sentiments. Just, you know, it's like that in St. Patrick's Day. You know, I'm not sure how widely that is celebrated in Ohio or Cincinnati, but in, you know, obviously Massachusetts, pretty popular. You stay home during that day because that's amateur hour.
Yeah, there's a lot. That's when all the green beer comes out and everyone gets all fucked up and drunk and yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Irish car bombs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So here we are, post holidays. Everything went fine on my end as well.
Good.
No complaints. I was over at my parents' house yesterday, helping take down their Christmas decorations. Dad is on the mend. He's I'm not saying turn the corner, but he is stabilized, I guess is the best way that you could put it at this point. Other than that, kids have gone back to school, except for the college-bound son. He's still got an extra week of vacation like colleges do, so he's kicking around. But otherwise,
nice.
I think this weekend we go into taking our stuff down. I know that you completed all the decorations earlier in the week here at Gimbals 2.0. You know, it will take us a while to deconstruct.
That's unfortunate.
Although that damn tree's got to get out of the house because it's weeping. It's like, you know, it's getting old. That's got to go today or tomorrow.
The house looks so empty now. I mean, you go, it's just like same old boring house.
I'm not saying I have as many trees as the glove boxes do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, Matt and I did play this earlier this week or last week with Mr. Glovebox. It was great for the soul to be talking to Eric again, and of course, Eric is Eric, always up to his usual things, plotting, planning, and venturing off somewhere. So
the man never rests.
Yes, it was good to talk to him. I don't know how many trees he's got. I think he said before on the show, at least between 5 and 7 trees, right?
Yeah, like every room.
We're up to 3 trees, or if you count the little one in my son's room, I guess it'd be 4, but we're up to 3. And my wife is contemplating how to keep the bedroom tree a year-round tree.
Bedroom tree?
Yeah, we got a tree in the bedroom. Which I think if you saw the tree in the bedroom, most people would be like, yeah, that's sufficient enough to be the main, you know, house tree.
Yeah.
So we have a tree in the bedroom. We have a tree out in the, like, I know it's hard to describe without seeing it, but her office is in this room that we renovated that's kind of like a sunroom, but not really a sunroom because it's not a porch or anything like that. It's just another part of the house with some big wide open windows on each side. And so in the corner there, she's got a flocked tree with all nautical ornaments. There's a color scheme to them. So there's, like whales and orcas and things like that, but all the ornaments themselves are kind of like silver and blue.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really I say that should be like one of the main trees. But no, then she has all like, we go out and get a real tree, and the ornaments on that are more like family stuff that like kids have either made at school or stuff we've accumulated on vacations, some older stuff that she had inherited from her mother. The other trees are more, my wife's gone out and orchestrated the look and feel of them. They have themes where the main tree is a family sort of hodgepodge of stuff.
We don't do themes with our trees. We just put our ornaments up there.
I'm not surprised, Matt. I'm not surprised. I mean, now, you are not as cultured as me to have a tree, an ornament made out of elephant poop. Okay? I don't know where we've acquired this or how or where, but it is an elephant made out of elephant poop.
Yeah, we don't have it. The best I can give you is we have an ornament made out of the Capitol steps. When they replace steps at the Capitol with the granite, we have an ornament made out of that.
That must weigh down the tree.
It's pretty heavy.
It's sizable.
Pretty heavy. We got it in DC when I was there a couple years ago. But yeah. Well, yeah, we don't have a tree in our bedroom, so yeah, I'm feeling inadequate now with my decorating and stuff.
We have, the hue lights in our bedroom. We have like nightstands on either side. Mm-hmm. But we don't need to turn those on now that the tree is there. It's fully like, nice romance lighting, you know what I mean? Love making by the Christmas tree, you know what I mean?
So now that Christmas is over, you're going to throw your panties and bras, underwear on the tree and
I don't know.
Used items and stuff, or tassels and that. You said you're trying to make it a year-round tree, and now.
Well, that's what I told her. I said, "Are you going to get different ornaments, like So we're coming up on like what I like to call the Hallmark holiday, St. Patrick's Day and Valentine's Day. You're going to swap them out." And she said, "No." So the tree's probably going to come down, but I have a feeling how this is going to play out. The whole rest of the house is going to get cleaned up. Everything put away, right?
Uh-huh.
And then this tree is like the last, I would suspect maybe by the end of January, this tree goes down.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah. Holding on as long as possible.
It's just another thing for me in the bedroom to run into while I'm trying to go to the bathroom.
You have a pretty big bedroom, Matt.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like it doesn't feel like it's in the room and it's like you got to like sort of like push your way by it or like it's just up against the wall and it's not in the way.
Just saying, it's something that I would run into in the middle of the night for sure. Barb will wake up and I'm fucking wrestling in a tree because I'm trying to go to the bathroom or something.
You don't have your wits about you when you got a pee rod and you got to go real bad. You're just stumbling and bumbling.
I'm stumbling. I'm bouncing off the fucking dressers and shit and the walls. And we got a sizable bedroom too, probably not as big as yours, but I bounce around and I don't know how many times the bathroom door I've run into the wall next to the bathroom door instead of actually going in through the doorway. And, yeah.
Well,
I wait till the last minute, unfortunately, to pee at night.
Well, that's a perfect place to pivot to the next conversation. 2025 is here. We have been enjoying lots of gaming early in the season of 2025, 4 days in, and we've been doing a lot, which we're going to get to here in just a little bit. But with a new year, Matt, some people have New Year's resolutions. If you feel like you have one you want to mention, go for it. But otherwise, if we stick to gaming, because if we say, what else would you want in 2025? You're going to say Bengals Super Bowl win, Reds Reds go better than 500.
Same old shit.
My 401k goes up. You're going to give me those answers. But in gaming, is there anything that you're hoping for or expecting in 2025 that you'd like to see?
I am really hoping that they are true to the word and GTA 6 comes out.
Now,
that's yeah.
Did you finish GTA 5?
Oh yeah.
I have not been able to get through that game. I can't tell you how many stops and starts I have with that game.
Yeah. Really, I get that's one of them games where I got in, I just started playing through, and bam, done. And then it's one of them great games where you can just fart around and do all types of stuff, and it's really sweet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, if you listen to the journalists out there, they're saying that a lot of other games are not announced, like they're announced windows of time, but not hard dates, because everybody's trying to move their game around GTA 6.
Yeah, because they know, right? You're going to, put your game out same time as that. It's like, well, okay, whatever.
It's basically DOA.
Yeah, I can see if you're maybe some little game, you maybe got a game that maybe isn't going to do well anyway, so you just kind of slide it in there, like, yeah, hey, we released this too, and that way it's
it's on the books for the tax records.
Yeah, and it gets kind of unnoticed.
So, if past experience tells us anything, the game probably gets delayed to 2026, and all you PC gamers out there, it takes Rockstar a year or two to port that thing over to the PC, so it's consoles only. And that's, music to Microsoft and Sony's ears, because they'll get a nice bump in sales for their hardware around that time for all the PC players that can't wait and must play GTA 6 a year or so before it comes to PC. So, yeah, I think they have targeted September 2026. I think originally it was September of 2025. I think they originally March,
spring,
and then they moved it already to September. I would suspect a year from now we'd be getting ready for counting down to how many weeks it's going to be till the GTA launch. But they might surprise us. Who knows? It's been 2 generations, Matt, since that game has come out. Now, of course, they've made several iterations to the GTA Online over that time.
Oh my God, they milked that game to death, man. GTA 5.
But they didn't do any updates to the story. That was just released and updated. They might have put patches out, like first person perspective and things.
But what I'm saying, they kept re-releasing that game.
Yes, you are exactly right. I mean, it came out on the 360 PS3, and then it came out to the next gen. And I would assume, do we have a PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of those now? I'd have to check. I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, they've done some quality of life, upgrades along the way, and revamped them for the newer systems. But they never put any more expansions out, right? It's just all been, their focus has all been on the cash cow GTA Online.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. They got a hell of a following of people that play that with it. You do the role playing and all that stuff, and people make videos and stuff.
Now, you would think with Rockstar's pedigree that this is a no-brainer of a success, but this will be the first release without the Hauser brothers, right? The guys who made GTA, they have moved on to created their own studio. So some of those writers and creators aren't around for this version. So we'll see how that shakes out. The only thing I can sort of say in the back of my mind is, you think of the Borderlands games or the Saints Row games, which I think are slightly of the same ilk. Those games, writing-wise, got worse over time. The further away you got from the heyday, they got worse over time. So we'll see if Rockstar can right the ship there and keep it consistent to the standard that everybody hopes for. All right.
Yep.
So other than GTA, anything else comes to mind that you want or expect to see in 2025?
I'm not sure about expecting to see in 2025, but I think want to get more use out of my Steam Deck and Rogue Ally.
Mm-hmm. And what would that take? Bringing it more to places, work and outside in the patio, the Villa de Helmer, under the gazebo.
All the above. Check all those above boxes, and and then at even maybe sometimes too here at the evening when the family unit is upstairs, maybe sit on the couch and play around on that, doing some stuff instead of being down here isolated. So yeah, a little bit of all the above, but yes, outside, using outside, taking on work trips, maybe taking it to work for at lunchtime or something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now that you've purchased these screens that assist you with the light, what's the fancy term for those? Screen protector?
Screen protector. These are matted, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really dull the picture down, but they do help with glare and everything. They help a lot with glare. Yeah. Anti-glare screen protection.
As you can see, I don't have that problem here. There's no windows. There's no sun coming in here.
Down in the submarine.
Yes. But is there a game that you're looking to purchase that's already out, or something new that you would say, hey, if I get this and this hits at the right time, I know me and the Steam Deck or me and the ROG Ally are going to be simpatico for the next couple of weeks? Is there...
Yeah, I'm not much up on all of that like you are these days as far as new games coming out. And, obviously I know the big ones like GTA or whatever. But unfortunately, there's not much out there that I'm aware of that I need to do. I mean, obviously from the past year, I've got a hell of a backlog of games to play and do, things, Stalker and Indiana Jones. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And going back to GTA, has that ever won Game of the Year? That hasn't been out. That's how long it's been since a proper GTA. I think the Game Awards, it has certainly won Game of the Year awards from other outlets. But what I'm driving at is the Game Awards show itself. I think it's 10 or 11 years old. I think they just had the 10-year anniversary. So it's been over 10 years since the first GTA came out. So not the first GTA, the GTA 5 came out. So I don't think it's ever been won that award.
The initial release date was September 17th, 2013. So
it might have just missed Jeff Keighley's Game Awards. All right. Well, for me, things I'm looking forward to 2025 I expect a Switch 2 announcement. I expect that almost within the next 45 to 60 days if the leaks continue. Now we're seeing pictures of the dock. We're seeing pictures of the internal motherboard. Supposedly The Verge is talking to a guy that owns one, has one, or had his hands on one, and they're getting all sorts of information. Just this week, some people were speculating that it was going to be as powerful as the PS4 Pro, which was quickly shot down by people that are in the know, that would know like what the innards of a PS4 Pro, and that there's no way that you could put that in a handheld that Nintendo is combining with their existing motherboard and power. So I think the expectations for people is that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be comparable to the PS4, but not the PS4 Pro.
Why do you think Nintendo does that? That they just they're always like a generation behind.
I think if I said it's because they don't care, I think that would be too simplistic. I think they march to their own beat, and I think they are very cost centric. That they don't want to price anybody out, and they don't want to make their prices higher than they need to be exorbitant. So they run into these sort of, we need to lay people off, we need to come up with all these exorbitant ways to market and sales and sell things just to break even. That the components that they're putting in are all, yes, there is some stuff that has to be made specifically for the Switch, but I think otherwise it's tried and true, tested, and we can price it that's affordable. And I'm putting that in air quotes because everybody's affordable is different. But by and large, it hits at a price that is palpable for a large segment of the gaming population. So I don't think they want to be in the space where they make it the latest and greatest, and the thing is $550 to $600, and they're competing with the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go and the MSI Claw and things like that. Keep it, $450 or less. I mean, I think the price is going to go up just because everything's going up. The cost, to make, the cost to employ people, give people benefits, everything goes up. So workers get paid more. So that means consumers got to take a little bit of that on the chin. But I think that's why. And I think they want their games to be rock solid. You very rarely hear of a true first party Nintendo game, releasing with major issues, bugs. That shit is usually generally rock solid. And I don't think
you're right. Yeah.
They're not bumping up against the latest and greatest technology. They're something that has been perfected, and they've squeezed every ounce of resources out of it and get it working to the best of their ability. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong in that. There could be more scientific or factual information, but that is I don't think they need to be bleeding edge. I don't think Nintendo's fans want, cutting edge, bleeding edge technology, right? They want their cutesy games just to look and run. And there's certain things people want OLED at this particular point. They love their games to run at 60 frames per second. You're running on older technology that's tried and true, though it's a lot easier to hit those targets than it is, So
and a lot of their core games are easy pick up and go, not huge learning curves and stuff like that. So friendly, which we'll get into a minute here. Also, again, easy to play, friendly to learn, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'd say with the exception of the Zelda game, right? That Breath of the Wild certainly did not hold your hand.
Sure.
I expect the Nintendo Switch 2. I would hope for a new Mario Kart, but I would hold my breath on that. I would bet you there would be a Mario Kart. I almost expect them to treat Mario Kart going forward like this might not be an exact, A to A comparison, but like a GTA Online where it's just a Mario Kart brand. You're going to get all the existing tracks and characters from the first game, or not the first game, but the latest game, which I think is Mario Kart 8.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Maybe they rebrand that to something, and then they give you all that content, and then there's new content slapped on top of it. And that's not the way Nintendo has worked, but Nintendo also has never, to my knowledge, had a 2, like an PS4, PS5. There's never been like a Wii 2, a Wii 3, a Wii U, a Wii U 2. They've always changed the name up. So we're just making an assumption that it's going to be the Switch 2. I mean, it would be it'd be too much of a softball for them to come out and say, this is the Super Nintendo Switch. Right?
Yeah.
So everybody's sort of hedging their bets that it's going to be the Switch 2. So I don't know. Nintendo's never really done anything like that with the game, where they just made it sort of like, I'm going to say, a live service game where you get all the existing content. Here's a whole bunch new. I don't know. I can see both ways. As long as the game, I think the benefit of them going to a Switch 2 is if they put out a new Mario Kart, you could still put the download it or put the disc in for the older Mario Kart 8. You know what I mean? So you'd have that backwards compatibility. I think that's also a big thing that they've never really been up against in the past, is backwards compatibility is almost like a got to have at this point, not a nice to have. And so I think with them going to whatever this new version of Switch is, it's going to run the disc and the downloads. Where there was sort of like, you could do it on the Wii U, you could do it on the Wii, but it was kind of sort of not the greatest experience. It was okay. So I think, those two things come to mind. We haven't had much Nintendo talk on this show. Nintendo's due for the new console. It's supposed to be coming out this year, so I think the announcement is coming at any point. Other things I like to see this year is maybe some more clarity around Microsoft's handheld, if that comes into clearer vision on what they do going forward. We could almost do a whole podcast. We could almost change this podcast to, handheld talk with Matt and Mike. I mean, there's so many new things coming out, announcements. We're going to be inundated here in the next couple days with the CES news and what all that stuff's going to shake out. There's new people entering the market space. I just saw that the MSI Claw 2.0, whatever their updated version is coming out, is supposed to be what they envisioned that product to be when they first released it, but it's got a $900 price point on it.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think that's definitely, we are in the handheld future, and it's only going to continue. So I like to see what Microsoft's doing. I like to see some more announcements from Microsoft. They got Avowed coming up here in a few weeks. It's coming out. But I like to see them announce some new things, or maybe show us some more gameplay of things that they got cooking, like what's up with the new Gears. Give us some Halo news. Same thing for PlayStation. There's been talk this week. Herman Hulse has said in interviews that they're looking at older IPs to maybe that they're always, it's a standard kind of marketing email that they respect their older IPs and they're always looking to, see how they could leverage them. But I love, we've talked, I think, a bunch on past episodes about Killzone and Resistance and Infamous. Do they bring any of those back? So those are things I'm hoping for, is that some of our older beloved titles maybe get another coat of paint, or another chance to do something. Also, when are we going to see Microsoft fully take advantage of the Activision Blizzard purchase, acquisition, whatever you want to call it, with Game Pass? Like, when are we going to see like the back catalog of that conglomerate mass of stuff hit Game Pass? I'm just thinking things off the top of my head. Prototype, Blur, all those sort of B-level games that Activision was putting out. When are we going to get some of that stuff on Game Pass? Even the older Call of Duty titles. When are those going to hit? Diablo 3. So those are some. Yep. Those are some things that come to mind. I couldn't tell you today. If you asked me, what do you think is going to be the game of the year in 2025? I think at this point, Matt, it's something we don't know. Some sort of Balatro comes out of the woods and takes the world by storm. There's some guys cooking up. There's a tail just crossing the screen.
It's not the tail I want.
Oh, hey. Stop dressing in friggin' full-on Bengals gear and start accentuating, your hips and masculinity, and maybe maybe that is not the lure that you put in the water to attract.
I see. I understand now. Maybe that's my problem.
All right. Moving on, we got a lot to discuss here about what we've been playing. Let's get some of the low-hanging fruit out before we jump into the meatier discussion. So, Matt, you want to go first and talk about what you've been playing besides the obvious one?
Yeah, so doing some more Balatro. Did get along with that. I've been able to win some hands with a couple of the different decks. So that unlocks new decks, unlocks different things. So I've been progressing there, doing that. I still have not been able to get these huge giant scores like everybody else is. If I get lucky with some jokers in that, I can do pretty well, but I still can't get some of these outrageous scores that people are getting.
Are you shocked by that?
Not really. Not really. No. No. And then I did start to play Stalker during my time off. One morning, woke up and started to mess with that. I don't know. I didn't get that far into it, and it just wasn't grabbing me. I was having difficulties with one part. I'll try and jump into it again at some time here.
Does it feel like real, like survivally, like you got like 3 bullets and people are weighing you down and you got to sort of like, you can't just go run and gun in that game, right?
No, you can't. No, it's very dark too. I put up the settings real high to be able to try and see, and it's really really dark, hard to see what's going on around you. But it's still just difficult to play for me. Looks good. It's from what I can see when it's not dark. It looks pretty goddamn good. It's spooky.
Now, one of your kids really enjoyed that, right?
Yeah, Noah likes Stalker games.
Did you go back? Did you go to him and say, "Hey, what am I doing wrong in these areas?" What
I probably should. No, I haven't. I'm afraid to go to my kids and say, "Man, I need help with the game." I'll never hear the end of it. Go back to Minecraft, Dad. Yeah. No, I probably should.
You haven't played Minecraft in a while. You were hot on that for a little bit.
Yeah, that and Valheim. Yeah, I haven't done Valheim. Well, actually, I did fire up Valheim the past couple weeks too. I fire up Valheim, go in, look at all my worlds, all the stuff I've built in that, and then left. So yeah, that's another game I gotta get in. But played Stalker. I need to get back into it, dedicate some real time, I guess, to play it and see. Maybe start over again. Okay, from the beginning, because it was just difficult for me to play. There was just one part where you gotta set this scanner in the ground and you walk up to it and then it explodes and you die and then you gotta go back and do it again. It's like fuck. So I need to figure out maybe what I'm doing wrong there or something. And then the big one, Diablo 4. For some reason I started playing that again. It's much more stable now than it was before. People remember if I talked about it much, but it kept crashing. Last time we played, I don't know, a year ago or something like that, constantly crashing all the time, doing bad, and I just left a bad taste in my mouth. Well, with all the updates and everything going on, the game is much more stable. Now it still crashes every now and then, which I'm trying to figure out, but it's not a constant crashing. And plus it's more stable when I'm playing.
You got dual monitors hooked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got anything running on that other monitor when you're playing the game?
Just Discord. Just Discord will be open because we'll be in there talking or something like that. I mean, sometimes I might have another window open up and I'll be watching, I don't know, something in the background. Netflix or something might be playing in the background or something like that. But
you certainly have there's been instances where you've had nothing on that monitor and it still crashed.
Yeah, I think it's a time thing because it's like after 2.5 hours, all of a sudden it just quits. It freezes and quits. So I haven't Googled that yet to see. But before when I was playing, go on my menu, go to my inventory, it crashed. Just leaving town, it would crash. Mm-hmm. So it was very frustrating. So it's a lot more smoother now, a lot better to play and do things. But anyways, it's good. I finished the campaign on it. 100% campaign done. Of course, now I bought the expansion pack, so I got go through that. But I'm going through that pretty well. That game we talk about here in a minute. That game, there's a lot going on. But I'm enjoying it. It's good. You and I have been playing together. I think we make a pretty good combo for stuff. You're a barbarian. I'm a sorcerer. So we do pretty well going through dungeons and the campaign and different things here and there that we're doing, the activities that we're all going through. So that's nice. Got some because of the upgrades and the expansion pack and everything. I shopped to level 50 when I came back in, and they gave me a shitload of gear and loot.
So I haven't. It's sort of the opposite of our Fallout 76 experience, where you made a conscious decision at the start of Fallout 76 to not take the 20 level boost and just start at 0 and work your way up. Mm-hmm. That has been my experience in Diablo. I've never been prompted to go to boost my character to level 50. I've always started from the ground up. So you coming back with your Eternal character, I'm just going to make up and say here you were in the teens or 20s with that character, and then you boosted to 50.
Yeah.
So I've never been prompted for that. So they boost you to 50, and there's a bunch of like rewards, and then there's like those loot goblin sacks that you can get. It has all the stuff in them, and you go to various other vendors or places. There might have been some stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how about what was your experience with the Paragon points? Because the reason I ask, my seasonal character that I started at 0 and worked my way up to Paragon just yesterday, once I got to Paragon 1, I had 24 points available to me. But I'm not level 24 Paragon. But as soon as I crossed that threshold into Paragon, I could spend up to 24 points. And I can't remember back when I was bringing some of my Eternal characters into, crossed the threshold of 60 skill level into the Paragon points, if I was going one at a time or I was given 24 just to sort of get a base going. What would you remember just a few days or weeks back when you got your character to 50 and then you went to 60 and you crossed over to Paragon? Was it one? Did you just have one little peg on the board, or did it give you a whole bunch?
I don't remember having 24. I don't remember having 24 points available. I remember it started at 1. Yeah, start over at 1. Because my gold shield went away, and then the blue one showed up, and it was 0 or 1, and then it went up from there. Yeah. No, I didn't get 24. Yeah.
So I didn't get to go like the number on the screen. I didn't get to go from 1 to 24. If you look at
you had 24.
If you look at my seasonal character, it just says 1. That's the Paragon level I'm at, but it gave me 24 nodes to fill in. The game does some interesting things. I have a bunch of seasonal characters, and when the season ends, those characters go to the Eternal realm. Okay, so my very first character, which I brought back to life when I completed the first campaign, that character I want to say right now is up to 119 in Paragon level. Now, all my other characters in the Eternal realm have 2 numbers. They have the skill level number, and they now have acquired my Paragon level that I'm using with my very first character. So what I feel is going to happen if I ever went back to those other Eternal characters, right? And I got them up to level 60 and crossed over into Paragon, I'm all of a sudden going to have a slew of nodes to fill in. It's like somehow the game is saying, hey, we know you don't have time to go back to all these characters and level them all up individually. Just get them to 60, and then we'll bring over your Paragon points from your highest level character in the Eternal realm. Yeah. And then they do some other interesting things too between seasonal. I shouldn't say seasonal. I should say story-wise. So I played the Vessel of Hatred campaign on my seasonal character. So I've unlocked, I think, all the mercenaries. Is there 3 of them?
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, so I've unlocked 3 of them. Now, with my Eternal character, I started to play Vessel of Hatred again with that character. Now, all those mercenaries are available to me in my den. I don't have to I don't have to complete those. Because it knows I completed those quests in the seasonal realm, I don't have to do those mercenary quests again in the Eternal realm to unlock them. They're already there for me in the den when I start playing that. So it's an interesting. And also, I think some of those other places, some of those priority quests, the purple quests, going to the Undercity, you don't have to do those multiple times. If you've done them in one, at least seasonal to Eternal, they are already completed. You can't. I guess it's a way you can't milk the XP from it for both characters, but also it's nice that you don't have to go ahead and do all that content over again. It's giving you somewhat of a head start or making it somewhat easier for you to bounce between the characters. I think they got a lot of feedback, Matt, that people like you would give Blizzard feedback here. I've just invested X amount of hours into this character, and now you're telling me to go to seasonal. I have to leave that character behind and create a new character and start all over. And they'd be like, yes, but now they can come back and say, but we've made it easier in some other aspects here. So I think they're trying to like straddle that fence of not being so. It doesn't feel so drastic that all of a sudden you got to leave that character behind and go to a new one and sort of start over. They're going to give you some perks, benefits doing that.
Yeah, and I'm going to sound like a broken record to you, Mike, for sure, because I pretty much probably say this every night. I still don't understand this whole seasonal eternal thing, okay? Because I'm spending all this time on my regular character, okay? Devious Mr. Matt, right? I've got some pretty sweet ass gear, all right? Some cool powers, okay? I've got this thing, getting them all tricked out and stuff. And I'm doing the campaign and everything with him, all right? And then we're doing some extra stuff and all of that. So, but now they want me also to have a seasonal character that kind of runs parallel with that. Like the seasonal character is going to do the campaign, all that stuff again.
No, you don't do the campaign again. You can, when you start your seasonal character, you can say, don't show me any of the season, don't show me any of the campaign stuff, and you just go in and you build. You level up pretty fast, and you're just doing the seasonal content. You're trying to go through the battle pass, right? You're trying to level your character up there, sort of like you do in Fallout 76. You go into that sort of battle seasonal mode, right? So you're going in and you're trying to complete the battle pass.
But with the seasonal stuff for Fallout 76, okay, there's no like seasonal content. You're going getting score points. You're doing those daily challenges. Kill 10 scourge, eat 5 crams, whatever.
Right.
To get your score points up.
I can't answer to you, is there specific seasonal content, because the game, I feel at times, doesn't hold your hand. So I am seeing stuff in the seasonal realm that I can't tell you if is it in the eternal realm. So I had this thing last night or yesterday afternoon. I was texting you and said, man, I just beat this thing called the fucking Realm Walker. And I'd never seen that in the eternal realm yet. But I saw it in the seasonal, where it was sort of like a world boss event to some extent. It was just this huge. The best thing I could describe it is it almost felt like an AT-AT from Star Wars in Diablo. It was moving that slow, but it was, certainly demonic looking and not Star Wars looking. And everybody sort of converged on this thing and taking down all the minions that were supporting it. And then you attack this thing and you got all sorts of, jewels and fragments and loot. But I've yet to see that in the Eternal Realm. I've only seen that in seasonal. So to me, there must be other sort of seasonal in-game events and things that go on that you cannot access in the Eternal Realm to incentivize you to play through the battle, to buy the battle pass, earn all the content from it, and then feel like there's something fresh and new in the season, whether these timed events,
I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head around that whole.
Because I think they also want you to, like when I go into seasonals, I'm not creating another barbarian, right? So every time I create a new season, I'm creating a new character, so I don't feel like I'm starting the process over. So like in the season, I've done Necromancer, Druid, Spiritborn, Sorcerer,
Right.
It's a way to explore other characters. I'm sure you could go online and you could look at their rationale. They've explained it, because you're not the only person that says, hey, I've spent a lot of time and now you tell me I got to park this character and go do something. And they're like, yeah, because we want you to experience the season and this content we're putting out. And
well, and then also
you would just blast through the content because you'd be so overpowered, right? And you would just consume it within a short amount of time and be like, wow, that was all for naught.
Well, and then the same thing I'm talking about, my main character, okay, my main dude. Now I'm going to spend all this time on this seasonal character, doing all this cool shit and that, get up to the part where he's like, all right, man, he can kick ass, do all the stuff. And then season's over. Well, bye-bye. Now you got to start a new one for the next season. It's a constant grind.
This is your homework for the next 2 weeks, man. Report back in 2 weeks and tell us why Blizzard does it this way, so you can let the masses know. I think what I've touched upon is it has some truths to it, but if you can dig deeper with some homework and let us know. I feel that they're doing it because just like they don't let you put gems on boots and gloves because they don't want you to be overpowered, right? They don't want you. They don't want you to bring your eternal character that you've been putting hundreds of hours into the seasonal. So you just blast through content, and not everybody's sort of at a similar starting point, right?
What does it matter for everybody? It's not PvP.
Yeah, I don't.
It doesn't matter if I'm.
There's another bullet point that you got to report back on.
No, we know it's going to happen in 2 weeks. I'm going to come back on the show. Like, Mike, I got a seasonal character. It's so awesome, man. This dude, why would they have eternal characters? Why isn't everything all seasonal? You know that's going to happen. It's great. Yeah.
And if you do create a new character, what are you going to do?
As far as what class?
Yep.
I don't know. Probably the one seasonal character I did the last time we was playing was a necromancer. So maybe try that again, or I don't know, see what else is that. I don't know all the classes are. I know you barbarian, obviously that's what you are. Necromancer. I'm a sorcerer. So I don't know. I wouldn't do sorcerer. I would probably do something new. So you got like skill points too. Then you got a level. Like if I start a seasonal character, do I start at level 0 with the skill points? So I got to get all them skill points built up also.
Yep. So it says here, this is a quick. You need to create a new character for each season because the seasonal experience is designed to be a fresh start with new mechanics and challenges, allowing everyone to compete on a level playing field by leveling up a new character with the season's unique features rather than carrying over a fully powered character from the main game. Essentially, it keeps the gameplay fresh and exciting with each new season.
Okay. Well, I guess after I finish the game, after we do some shit with her, I'll promise you're already halfway through with your seasonal character.
Well, my seasonal character has not done the first campaign. I doubt I would go back and do that. My seasonal character has finished Vessel of Hatred. So yeah, now I'm just grinding seasonal content to complete the battle pass, which you got to buy. You know, you can do the season without buying it. There's some free items you can lock in the battle pass, but I had some because I am playing Diablo 4 on the PlayStation. Matt's playing on PC. Because I've purchased some games on PlayStation with their reward system, you accrue PlayStation bucks. I converted those PlayStation bucks into buying the $10 battle pass.
Battle pass, yeah. Nice. Maybe I'll start up a seasonal character here and see. Just
I would say for now, stay the course with your Eternal. Mm-hmm. And then maybe the next season. I am in a place now where it feels like all I want to do is play Diablo because I got these two characters and I'm not at a good place with either one yet. And I wouldn't want you to have that feeling because it fits somewhat for me. I feel like I got to devote some time to this character, and you know what happens when you do that? You never get them.
Yeah. Right. But no, I've been having fun. Mike and I've been playing a lot in the evenings together, doing different things. You know, doing nightmare dungeons, and now that we kind of have a handle on our gear and characters and what they can do and our builds and stuff, we've been doing some pretty high level shit.
Let's be a little braggadocious here, Matt, and tell the people we're playing on Torment level 1, which I think if you ever told Matt and Mike that we were going to play a game not on normal and bump it up to hard, you'd be crazy. But not only hard, but we're like 7 layers deep of the Eternal Hell Flame. But I think it's like we're 1 level beyond Pentiment. Now, I feel it's still very, very easy on Torment 1. If you were just doing stuff out in the world, nightmare dungeons, it still feels very easy to me. It's only when you get to the I think I'm going to call this true end game content, when you fight this like reimagined Lilith, you do some lairs. What were we doing last night? We did some stuff in the Undercity, and
we tried to do the raid.
What that's called, the Enclave of Strife. Yeah, we got pretty far in that. I want to say we got 7 or 8 levels, and I'm not sure how many more were after that, but we bumped up against it at like around level 8. and we just couldn't get past that. We were getting like one shot, one kill type scenario.
Yeah.
We did the Undercity stuff, and that's timed. And anytime you put a clock over our heads, like you got 90 seconds to do this, and you got to start killing other soldiers, these skeleton soldiers, to earn like 9 seconds back of time. I'm not sure we're the best equipped to handle something like that. We'll try it again, but it felt like they were penalizing there that like some of the enemies were really like, squishy. Like it was taking a long time to get them down.
Yeah, and people, Mike and I are very patient people. So there was many parts of this raid where we had to work together to kind of do things and that. And it went swimmingly well.
Surprisingly, it did go well. We figured it out. We put our heads together. You had to go one way. I had to go one way. You had to step on this thing. I had to step on that thing. No, open this door now. Did the fat guy come out? Yeah, the fat guy's coming out. All right, kill the fat guy now.
Yeah. All right, my fat guy's dead. I'm putting the thing in there. Well, I'm not dead yet. I'm not there yet. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say something completely out of my ass that could be incorrect, but this is my observation. Is that I would say Path of Exile is for the really hardcore nerds of these types of games, and Diablo 4 is not. But boy, it feels like Diablo 4 at some points is not revealing. It's making you figure things out for yourself that sometimes I feel like I shouldn't have to. Like, why can't it tell me, we're going to go back to like the sockets on the gloves and the boots. Like, why can't it tell you, like, instead of just having it grayed out and then me having to go to the Google machine to tell me why it's grayed out, why can't it just say this item, we have made a decision not to allow gems for this item because of, they have so much other information that they're throwing on me on the screen. What's another couple sentences?
Why can't they just put on the bottom of that thing, cannot be socketed?
Right.
Yeah.
There's some other things like that have thrown me for a loop. Like Matt and I spent a good time talking about the Paragon strategy, the points. Matt, I think for a lot of different games, we use Fallout 76 and Diablo as the example. Matt is more of methodical. I'm going to research this. I'm not going to assign my points. I'm going to look at a certain strat and go with that. I am more in, hey, I could die tomorrow and I'm just here to have fun. I got all these points. I'm just going to fucking use them in every single node. And so that's been our two different approaches there. And that sort of has bit me in the ass a little bit here with, you can, again, how do they come up with these decisions? You can basically undo everything in the game, like refund all your points, your skill points, your Paragon points. But all of a sudden, they made a decision that you cannot. Once you've leveled up these glyph nodes, you can't set those back to 0 and assign those glyph points. So, I didn't study the Paragon board enough to realize that some of these. There's only like on the first board, I'm only putting one glyph in there. I'm using the right word, right? It's a glyph.
Yeah, glyph. Mm-hmm.
And so I'm upgrading, like, when we finish the pit and we get to upgrade some glyphs, I was spreading it across 3, thinking I had these other 2 already on my board. They're nowhere on my board. They're on none of my boards. So I've wasted now 15 or so glyph points on things that are not even on the board, where I could have just put them all into this one glyph that's on my first board. Like, it doesn't, at times I feel like, you can't be doing these things at midnight with squinty eyes going, just gonna sign points. But when you're struggling and you want to be powerful and you want to get through content, you're like, fuck it, I'm just assigning this shit, But what where do they make the decision? Like, yeah, I can assign and upgrade all this stuff, and you can sort of either through some sort of penalty of coin reset everything back, but no glyphs. Nope. Once you've made that decision, it's locked in gold, and literally, and you can't undo that. And that's
right.
That's some of the stuff that drives me a little bit wild. But if we sort of go back to some of our experiences in this game and other games, I say this a lot with Borderlands. I think the problem Borderlands and now Diablo has, they throw a lot of irrelevant loot at you.
Mm-hmm.
There is only a few hours in the game where you would ever put blue or gold. So blue is what? Normal?
Blue is like your rare, whatever. Yeah.
I think the rare is the gold. The blue is normal or something in between normal and rare. The game at the very beginning drops a little bit of gray gear, which is just the basic shit. And then I think it goes basic, normal, legendary, I'm going to assume. Like those 3 flavors, they continue to give you that stuff throughout the game. I'm like, it's like, dude, I am past level 60 skill points. I am almost at 120 Paragon points. Why do you continue to give me blue and yellow? Now I know why this can happen because Matt showed me the light with this. Matt was unaware that you could level up your potions. I'm like, have you gone to the alchemist and got, all the way through? And he boom, 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 leveled up all his potions. And I was like, that's costing you coin, right? And he's like, oh shit, the last one cost like 5 million. Now I only have like 200,000 coin. So I guess the game gives you some of that other gear so you can then go ahead instead of break down for materials, which you do need. That's a use for it as well. But it's also used to replenish your coin. But
you can sell
I want to be clear here. You are never, especially when the game has decided to give you 800 level gear at some point to make things easy. You are never picking up any of that blue and yellow gear and saying, "Yep, I'm going to apply that now," because it's never going to be better than what you've already got on.
Right. Yeah. Especially when you get ancestral gear, like some of our stuff's ancestral and all this. It's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I'm going to take this gold and put in and take out my ancestral piece. No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, my gold is giving me a +7. Yeah, let me put in a +7, but take out all the other ancestral perks I have going on.
Yeah.
So it's just another form of currency that you're picking up, and you are using it either to craft, get materials for crafting, or you're using it to replenish your gold, which you spent to get the super potent, 60 plus curable potion health.
Right. Yeah.
But boy, yeah, it feels and the downside to that is it bogs down your inventory, man. You got all this shit thrown at you, and they don't. Yes, you can have your stash. You can buy other levels of your stash, but your active we're going to call it a backpack, has only got what I want to say 20 to 25 slots, something like that. Maybe.
Yeah, it's not many. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does.
And it can fill up. And it can fill up pretty quickly when you're going on a run and doing stuff and that. Yeah.
So we often talk about the loot and how some of it becomes irrelevant too quickly, and I feel like the same thing happens in Borderlands. You're getting all these fucking guns drop every fucking couple, and I think that's what they want. I think there's some sort of, how would you call this, Matt? Psychology.
Yeah.
Continuously play the game and it drops the loot for you, so you can that whole drip, the constant drip of dopamine of
Oh, maybe this time. Yeah, maybe. Oh, what's this? Maybe this is actually no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, a lot of games, Division has that issue. Destiny is another one that we're just constantly throwing you blues, and it's like, I'm not even going to do anything with this shit, except for scrap it, whatever. And of course, yeah, right. Like you said, you scrap it for Destiny for Glimmer and stuff, and here in Diablo, you're scrapping stuff for materials and that. So
I just think of the man hours, though, that have been used to create all this gear, give it names, give it value, and the players aren't doing anything with it but except putting it in the hopper and junking it for materials or gold. And that's just, I don't know, maybe some of this stuff is automated on their end, so it's not a big, human lift, but someone, whether it's a gun that someone is decorating, that's designed after a real gun, or it's a piece of armor, someone is spending some sort of time to create these things, and that's a job, someone's got it, but I sort of look at that and go, wow, I didn't even look to see what that is. I didn't read the name, I didn't read the perks, I saw it was blue, and I junked it. But someone on the other end was spending time to create that, craft that, make that.
Yeah.
And make sure it looks, that when I do equip it, that it fits and looks and doesn't, break. Other things, that we've noticed during the Diablo experience, lot of different currencies, and we've talked about this in the past. You know, I think it's clear. Not that it shouldn't already be clear to everybody listening and ourselves, but people way smarter than us are making these games. And I don't know the rhyme or reason of just continuously adding on other currencies. Is that the only way that they can solve the problem, or is that the only way that they can introduce new things without interfering with the existing currencies? So, for example, in this vessel of hatred, you get these mercenaries now that come with you. At one point, where the mercenaries hang out as a den, and at one point, some sort of person comes there that you can buy and trade with them. But that person's not taking your gold. There's like some other currency. If you're doing stuff in the pit, which is kind of end game content, in order to do the pit, you need seeds. If you're going to be doing nightmare dungeons, you just can't walk up to a nightmare dungeon. You got to have some sort of
sigil, a nightmare sigil to use. Yeah,
right. And all these other shops, the occultist and other places, with the sort of the gambling lady, right? You got to have those murmuring orbles to go to her to try your luck at getting better gear.
Which is another thing. You're capped at like 2,100 of those, and we're getting flushed with them.
Yeah,
doing these events. Are we supposed to be? Maybe we're not spending them enough, Mike. I don't know, but yeah.
I mean, what am I supposed to do? Just dedicate a whole day of just like spending all my murmurings with this lady? Because I mean, I have sacks and sacks full of the loot goblins stuff that they gave me as a reward for coming back. But each one of those is like stuffed full of those orbles, and if you just walk away, they're just gone. So like you have to spend a whole afternoon going through all those, going to that lady, spending them, picking the ones up you just dropped, rinse, repeat, and then go to another bag. It would take you, I think, almost like 4 or 5 hours to getting through all that.
Yeah, it did. I did that when I got all that shit. I was like, well, what the fuck? I went and found the lady. I was like, okay, well, all right, buy, scrap. Go back, pick up the oracles, buy, scrap. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, that's a confusing one there, and it just seems maybe we're missing something there, Mike. Okay, but it seems like the stuff that she's giving you is useless loot, except for those keys to open up them chests.
No, sometimes I've got the Matt and I have a very simplistic style when we reference gear when we talk to each other. We're calling the ancestral stuff the peach colored gear. I've never gotten 800 from her, but I've gotten 750 level gear from her in the peach color, the ancestral. But she laughs at you going, haha, luck wasn't on your side, and you look and you got a fucking blue.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? It's gambling, Mike.
Well, it's a good way to get your gold up if your gold is down.
Yeah. But yeah, there's many different types of currencies. There's one for the raid too, and then you can use that currency to buy potions and consumables for the raid that help you along the way. And
if I was back in my gamers and beta days, I would reach out to a dev and get them on the show and ask them specifically why we run into this. And Diablo's not the first game that does it. Why do we run into this? Is this to add on new and existing levels of content for people? And the only way to do this is introduce these other lines of currency rather than muck up the existing one or make it too simplistic that you feel like you got to. Do gamers demand this from the devs that, hey, we got to make the game feel like you have added on and made the game more intricate, and in order to do that, we have to give you these other levels of currency?
The only way I can see it, Mike, is as a gamer, maybe it makes you feel more rewarded. Because if it was all just gold, there's people out there that have billions of gold.
I have 82 million.
Right. So, okay. So maybe you could just then go in with your gold and willy-nilly and just buy some of this stuff. Now, obviously, they could make some of the stuff at an enormous price for you to buy,
like the royal skulls cost like 10 million to craft.
Yeah. Right. So maybe it's something like that where, okay, they don't want people just easily buy the stuff. They want you to make you work for it and maybe feel rewarded. But yeah.
So yes, to summarize, Matt and I are neck deep in Diablo 4. We got multiple, at least I have multiple characters going on. We're having a good time. If anybody else is out there and wants to play, I think, Denny comes to mind. All sorts of hours in Diablo. I think they've done a very good job with the cross play and cross progression. So, Matt, if you said to me, Mike, I am tired of playing on PC. I can't handle the crashes anymore. I'm going to bounce over to Xbox now. All you would have to do on the Xbox side is buy Vessel of Hatred, and you'd be good to go. All your progression is there. It's got the cross play and cross progression. So Matt's playing on PC. I'm playing on PS5. We use Discord to talk to each other, and it goes pretty good. So they've done a nice job with that, and it looks great on the PS5 Pro. The update, some of those dungeons that you go into really look beautiful with the update.
Yeah, we've been having fun in the evening doing stuff. So hop on in.
Before we move on quickly, what did you think of the main campaign and the Vessel of Hatred? Is any of that grabbing you? Thought it was done well?
Yeah, the main campaign near the end there was getting pretty intense. Was very well done. I'm into Vessel of Hatred. Getting that completed, and I'm not going to give any spoilers out or anything, but I'm very curious to see what happened to one of the main characters that we, was helping us during the campaign. What's going on with her, and if we're able to save her or have to fight her or what. So I'm that's where I'm at right now. Actually, I need to go find her, rescue her, I think is what it says. So no, it's going good. I like it.
Very good. We're going to move on to some gaming news here, which is going to tie into something Matt and I were playing earlier. I'm going to jump around here a little bit in the planner, Matt. For those that don't know, Matt purchased the DualSense controller. Even he's using that on his PC now. Matt, now correct me. In order to get the DualSense to work, you have to plug it in, right? You're not using this thing wirelessly. You're using it wired.
To get full functionality out of the controller, it says it's best to have it plugged in, with a cable.
Now, so, I will tell you, when I played Fallout 76 on my PC, I used the Xbox controller.
Yep, me too.
I always had it plugged in because I just was not in the mood to set myself up for having these things disconnect on me. So because it's right here with me, I'm not on a couch situation. It's the PC. The wire doesn't, if I had to sit in my recliner back there and play on the TV and I had to have this wire draped across the floor, that would annoy me. But this right here, it doesn't annoy me to be on PC and have my controller wired.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to get into is we were playing
Motorfest. Motorfest Crew. Yeah, Crew Motorfest.
Crew 2 Motorfest. And Matt just got the DualSense. And Matt, tell me a little bit about when you're playing that game and you were using the braking system and the acceleration.
So everyone talks about this DualSense controller. Okay, well, how good it can be? What is it? Blah blah blah. So we started playing the Crew Motorfest, and the triggers. Okay, your R2, left 2, right? As they go in, when you're braking on using L2 to brake, it actually feels like a fucking brake pedal, like you press in your car. There's actually resistance there when you're pressing down in on the controller. And then when the harder you press down into, it chatters like your brakes are, squealing or whatever. It is really wild how it just, you're not just pressing this in, to brake. There's actually resistance in this trigger. And same thing with the gas. As you give it gas, there's resistance there in the trigger, and it vibrates. The trigger kind of vibrates, and there's tension and stuff there. Like it's like you're actually pressing fucking pedals. in your car here with this. It is really cool. It's like, okay, I get it now. I see why this is such a big deal.
It doesn't.
Now I haven't.
It doesn't feel like a gimmick. It doesn't feel like a connecting where you wave the controller. It just happens, and it really stands out when developers put the work in. Like you play this, you play Astrobot, you play some of the other first-party Sony games, and the level of immersion just goes through the roof, rather than the standard rumble in your hands.
Yeah, it's pretty well. Yeah, it's not just okay. No, you actually felt resistance on the trigger as she's pressing it in. It was wild.
So to get to our news story here, a couple years back, Phil Spencer at Xbox came out and said, one thing, he's not one to say Sony does this better than us or blah blah blah, but he did say one thing that he would like to give Sony credit for, that he feels that they are ahead of Microsoft on, is the DualSense. And Microsoft doesn't have a product that sort of competes with the DualSense at this time. Now, Microsoft was going to release a mid-gen refresh like the PS5 Pro. They were codenamed Brooklyn and Elwood, but Microsoft has scrapped those plans. They're not going to do a mid-gen refresh. They are going to stay the course, and they are going to wait a couple years to release their new hardware. But along with these mid-gen refreshes, there was also going to be a new controller, and they've dubbed the name of it, I want to say that's pronounced Sebile, Sebile. Not sure if that's correct. But the controller had many features. One of them was a direct-to-cloud connectivity similar to what Stadia had. So for anybody that played Stadia, there was a button on the controller that you would use to connect to Stadia. So in this, you can imagine direct-to-cloud. I want to go to the cloud gaming, and you press this button. But getting back to what we were just talking about, this controller, I think, Matt, was aimed to sort of compete with Sony's DualSense. And Windows Central has an article that I'll link in the show notes where they say, yes, the mid-gen refreshes have been canceled, scrapped, but this controller still exists. There's a recent patent update, and they are forecasting that this Sebile, the new Xbox controller, the world's best controller now playing on a screen near you, will come out and be introduced when Xbox launches their new hardware in a couple years. So it's not going to be something, at least for now, that they release sort of, in the middle of a console cycle. They're going to introduce this to you when you get a new sort of console. So it's going to be a couple years, which to me is disappointing, because the reason I wanted to bring this up is I have found myself through various sales of the holidays of buying games that I had on Xbox, but I want to play them on PlayStation. Just the level of immersion I'm getting with the DualSense and my preference for it is now far surpassing what I feel like I'm getting on the Xbox. To me, Xbox, that thing in the hand just feels too vanilla for me, that I'm not enjoying the game. Even if the developer doesn't put all the effort into the haptic feedbacks, I just feel like I started to play Space Marine on Xbox, and I just felt like I wasn't enjoying it to its full ability. So I bought it on sale on the PlayStation, and I started playing it, and I'm back, and I've gotten past where I was on Xbox, and I'm just having a better time with it. So I am, kind of the Xbox box is just going to be for stuff that is, I only can play on that box, which we know is going to be few and far between these days, but their whole, this is an Xbox and you can play it everywhere. But I am looking forward to this new controller. Maybe that will be something that will pull me back into their ecosystem a little bit better. Because I really love the DualSense and how it works. But it's really cool. So some details about this, the immersion, they're calling it Feel the Game, Precision Haptic Feedback, VCA haptics double as speakers. There's going to be an accelerometer, quieter buttons and thumbsticks. Some other stuff here, approachability, engage and delight. It's you lift up the controller to wake it up. But they say it's got a familiar Xbox feel, same ergonomics as Merlin, which I think is the existing controller. Same layout and activation forces. Durable and reliable new modular thumbsticks, improved longevity, continued build improvements. The improved longevity is something I want to get into here a little bit. So my 11-year-old son has been into gaming for a while, but he's like a hardcore gamer now where he plays a lot of Roblox and a lot of Dragon Ball and a lot of Sonic with his friends, or a lot of those types of games, Dragon Ball and Sonic, in the Roblox universe where content creators have created games around those universes. And some of those games must have something where you need to use the right bumper a lot. And he is breaking the right bumpers on these brand new controllers that he's had for just like a few weeks.
Wow.
So I got to get my hands on some tools to open those up and see. You know, I've given the controllers that he says don't work anymore to my middle son, who's a real Xbox head. And I say, take these to your system, play them through your games, and let me know if they work for you. He says, nope, the right bumper is not working.
Jeez.
So it doesn't feel like it's like gunked up with like, you know, honeydew donut hands, as I like to call them. If he just must have like broke the spring, or the spring went off the track or something. So I got to open those up and see if I can figure. These are not controllers that he's had for like years that are just like conked out. Like we're talking about like, you know, 60, 90 days worth in his hands and now no longer work. That one button. So, it's cost prohibitive, Matt.
Yeah, it seems pretty wild.
So yes, I'm looking forward to the improved longevity, but it's going to still be years away as Windows Central. All right, pivoting away from gaming for a little bit here. There's a news from Ars Technica that Siri, which is the voice on your Apple phone, when you want to talk to your phone, Matt, on Android, what is it? You just say, you just say, "Hey Google."
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. I never used Siri on my Apple. Never intentionally used it. And unintentionally it comes up. But anyways, Siri unintentionally recorded private conversations. Apple has agreed to pay $95 million, which means if I want to get in on this class action settlement, Matt, I will get $20 from Apple.
Hey, there you go.
But you know how we've all seen this on social media. We've all said this to each other. Hey, my wife and I were just talking about sex toys, and all of a sudden I'm getting sex toys ads. Or, hey, I was just talking about tacos or going out or buying some Air Jordans, and now I'm getting, you know, Taco Bell ads, and I'm getting, Air. My phone is listening to me, and everybody's like, no, you're crazy. You must have just Googled it. You must have clicked on it. The phone is listening to you. And that's how all of a sudden you're getting, this stuff served up to you. And so Apple has admitted that, Siri unintentionally has recorded private conversations. The Siri feature was introduced in 2014. Go ahead.
No, I'm just it's all listening. They're all listening.
So, I'll have to decide if I want to put my name in the hat, Matt, for $20.
Getting something back from Apple. I mean, people say, "Oh, how come we got Alexas all over our house?" And it's, how come you manage listening? It's doing it. It's like, man, if they want to listen in on my little conversations where I'm, talking baby talk to Barb or something like that, then more power to them.
Yeah, if they want to hear that smacking of skin.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Whatever, dude.
My mother said that to me. You gotta be careful with all those devices over your house. I mean, listen, boy, they're gonna be bored to tears. Some mundane shit going on.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh my god,
arguing over who's taking the recycling down, who's taking the trash out. Who's food shopping. What do we need this week for food shopping?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I hope the lazy one's downstairs playing games again.
Last thing I want to circle to, Matt, is a fun fact from Sony, and this gets back into the handheld talk. Sony's Hiromi Wakai, I'm not sure what role he has at Sony, but maybe let's just say for the sake of this conversation, it's pretty high up, has given some information about the PlayStation Portal. For those that don't know, the PlayStation Portal is a remote device that you can use to remote stream from your console to your PlayStation Portal. So this is some fun facts. They say that the PS Portal usage peaks at 9 p.m. local time, where the PS5 usage in a house peaks at 8 p.m. So Sony has surmised from this data, hard-hitting facts here, that some houses only have one television, or there's a main television where the family, congregates around, and that they have to relinquish the TV to the family around 9 p.m., but they're not yet ready to stop gaming. So at that particular time, they see the PS5 usage drop at 9 p.m. and the Portal usage peak at 9 p.m. So like Matt was saying, hey, I have one hand free to give Bob foot rubs, but the other hand I'm going to be giving, love to the Steam Deck. These other people don't have the Steam Deck. They're hanging out with the family on the couch, and they're on the PlayStation Portal while Hallmark videos are going on, or like my kids are watching the Celtics game, but I want to be in the same room with them. But you must live in a very amenable household compared to me, where if the TV is on and the family is watching it, and I am in the room and I am gaming on the Portal or the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally or whatever, I am looked at in a very, very bad light. No, you need to be focused and present with the family. Just because your body is here, but your mind is elsewhere, doesn't really mean that you're engaged with family time here. We're all here to watch the Celtics. Put the device down. The button tapping is a distraction. Be focused on the game.
Nah, that's where it's... Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Because you're really not here with me. You're not engaging conversation with me. You're not... You're just... Your body is here, but your mind is elsewhere.
Well. So let's turn the tables on this. Okay. Yeah. How much conversation is there going on when you're watching the Celtics games? Because me personally, when I'm watching the Bengals, okay, which I will be doing tonight, I don't want all this chitter chatter going on.
There's a lot of conversation. If you know me, there's a lot of conversation going on with the Celtics or sports in general. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but we will for a very, very brief second. There are players in basketball, and we'll use the Celtics as an example, that get paid north of $300 million, the size of their contract. And these motherfuckers cannot hit a free throw. Now, I don't know what goes on at practice. Like, practice would be slowed down to a halt if you said, all right, player A, you shoot 100 free throws. When you're done, player B, go to 100. You can't do that at practice. So it's got to be on the player to be before practice or after practice.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about someone like Shaq, who's a big dude, long, gangly arms, well over 7 feet tall. Not part of his game. He was a guy that was underneath, feed me the ball. He had a just like Charles Barkley playing golf. He had a really wonky form. But there are some other guys on the Celtics that are pure scorers, pure athletes, and they could not hit a goddamn free. And so every night, there's like no conversation, no chatter. Well, the chatter is, fucking son of a bitch can't hit a goddamn free throw. We're down by 3 points. If he only hit his freaking 5 free throws earlier, we'd be up by 2 points. If I'm the coach, I'm having these guys run laps and shooting free throws all day long. What the fuck?
This ain't high school.
This is what's going on with me. So they should be happy that my mind is elsewhere. And I also and other things I say during the game. This goes down. Can't fall in love with your players. Guy performed great for us last year. This year he's having a so-so year, or this guy's often injured. We're tying our whole season around this one player, but he's always hurt. You got to move on from him. It's going to hurt. You're going to take a little bit on the chin, but you can't fall in love with your players. You got to trade them. You got to get assets back.
Yeah.
Kids and the wife don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the GM speak come out. So they should be happy I have the hand.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because I am,
See, I could be sitting there playing my Steam Deck or Ally or whatever on the couch and have the Bengals game on. I'm paying attention to what's going on in the Bengals. I'm listening. I'm hearing that. I might as well be listening to on the radio. Really, But I'm paying attention. And I'll get up and watch it. Stop, watch, whatever for a little while. But I'm playing and that, and Bar would be in my ear. Oh my God, they should have caught that. How come he didn't do that? They should have done that. Well, it's like the game's not fucking over yet. They didn't lose yet. All right, the game's not over. It's only the first quarter.
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'm the opposite. Didn't hit that shot up. That's ball game. And it's like you're gonna be chasing that 5 points the rest of the game. That's me in the first quarter, and then the Celtics come back and end up winning by 30.
Well, it's like, when I would go up to the bar, it would drive me crazy. It was anything. If it was the Reds playing or college football, whatever, they like throw a pass and they missed it. And, that was a terrible play. I don't want to. Of course, it's a terrible play because they catch the fucking ball, or they throw and he catches the ball. Oh, well, that's great. That's great. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Fucking Cueto throws a pitch. It's a ball. Oh, that was a horrible pitch. I was like, what? Thanks, Mr. Obvious.
Well, I think what they are not commenting is on the execution. They were commenting on the expectation of the pitch. Like Cueto wasn't trying to throw it into the ground. What they're trying to say is that Cueto should be
obviously a pitch like that.
Better execution.
Yeah, obviously a pitch like that where it bounced off the ground. Yeah, that was a terrible pitch. But if it's a fucking ball that's just outside the corner or something like that, well,
that is strategy. That is strategy. That's getting the hitter to chase.
Yeah. Well, trying to get these simpletons to understand some of this, we're much more educated men,
Yes.
When it comes to some of these things.
We're just innocent men.
Exactly. Just innocent men. Just innocent men.
Oh, boy. Very, very quickly before we wrap up, college football playoffs. Wow, none of the teams with the byes won. So Oregon, Boise State, Arizona State, and Georgia all bounced. So it's Penn State, Notre Dame, Texas, and Ohio. Matt, just give me my flowers for that, knowing that all off the top of my head, because I don't watch any college sports, really. But I
was going to say, man, it's just, wow. That is wild.
So do you have a prediction? I mean, Ohio State and Texas, to me, it feels like Ohio State versus Texas is the championship game. I think whoever comes out of that should be able to easily beat Notre Dame or Penn State.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'm going to go with Ohio State to win the whole thing. But, yeah.
What does people from Ohio feel about Notre Dame?
No one cares about Notre Dame.
But, I mean, people from Ohio don't like Indiana, right? But even though Notre Dame is in Indiana, there's no, hatred towards Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, it's Notre Dame, right? So you're gonna have Notre Dame followers all over the place. But in Ohio, if Ohio State's not playing, yeah, okay, Notre Dame. But Ohio versus Notre Dame, everyone's gonna hate Notre Dame. Fuck yeah.
So Ohio State fans just really hate Michigan. That's
absolutely hate Michigan.
Just Michigan, but there's not much hatred towards Indiana because Indiana's never really been much of a threat.
Never been an issue for us. Yeah. No. Same thing with Penn State. Penn State, fuck Penn State, but
yeah. Well, Penn State's been a powerhouse for a while.
Oh yeah.
Well, interesting times. Those games are coming up here. I think Thursday night. Those games are coming up, and then the football, the championship is the 10th.
No, the 20th. I think isn't it the 20th? Or maybe we got a couple weeks yet.
Maybe the game's on the 10th. But this week's games are on the 10th, and then it's the 20th.
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. But Saturday football is here today. Your whole division is playing today. The first game is the Browns and Ravens, and then the night game is Steelers Bengals.
Yep.
So you're gonna have Diablo loaded up on the Steam Deck, ready to go.
The Steam Deck is charging up.
Do you have Hatred downloaded on it? And
I need. Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I gotta make sure it's updated. I know it's updated, but I don't know if I updated since I bought the expansion.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. The first episode of 2025, episode 23, our conclusion, our magnum opus of 2025. Any last words, sir, before we say goodbye?
Well, I hope 2025 turns out good for everybody. I hope things work out well, no matter your political outlook and everything. And just good luck to all.
All right, we'll leave you with that.
Oh, where is he? I'd like to look at him.
Went over. Wait a second.